Greetings and salutations, this is Rick. I do hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I'm just going to be doing a bit of flying around in virtual reality. So here we are once again on my favourite aircraft carrier, and I decided it's a bit, the weather's a bit rubbish outside, and there's not a lot I want to be doing. I'm having a bit of a day off today, so I thought I'm going to jump in an aeroplane and have a little fly around and maybe do a little bit of a natter and a chat about life, the universe and everything. Maybe do a little bit of a video vlog or something. I thought it just might be fun, change of scenery and all that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this F-14 and we're going to have a little look around, a little fly around, see what's what. So if I just jump in, I'm going to shut the canopy down. There we go. Right, now what I need to do is I'm gonna move the camera to a different angle, and I'm also going to make it a wider angle. There we go. That's, I think, is that an okay angle? There we go. I think that's fine, isn't it? So, all right, well, let's take off and then we can go for a natter and have a chat about whatever we want to do. So let's put the gear up and the flaps up. How's that looking? Get the old swing wings back and get a bit of speed. Actually, I don't need to go crazily fast. And I think what I'll do is I'll head off over to the city. If I've got a bit of a flashing in front of my face, I think that's my tail glitching, because I've got a bushy tail with this avatar. So and I think it does a glitch thing, but that's okay, that's fine. Like I say, just sit here and have a natter. In fact, I'm going to slow down a bit, take things a little bit more easy, and go more of a cruise rather than a blast through the sky. So yeah, I was going to do like a video log. I tried recording a video log yesterday and it came out very disjointed and just not very good. So I thought I'd have another stab at it today. Now, one of the things I was going to talk about was social media, and I've had social media for such a long time. I don't actually count YouTube as social media, although technically I think it is, but everything else, Facebook, oh hang on, just going to fly under a bridge, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, things like that, it's all pretty that's all standard social media. And I think I've decided that I'm going to quit social media entirely apart from YouTube. And one of the things that's brought me around to that thinking is just recently I've been listening to a lot of the Stoic philosophy channels, and they have been quite interesting. Stoicism is it's quite complicated, but it's essentially all about you taking control of your life in a way that you can, and not worrying about the things that you can't control, and not allowing those to occupy your thought processes all the time and stuff. And the thing is, what's been happening recently is I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. I tend to have YouTube on in the background, a bit like listening to the radio. And what's been happening, especially these last quite a few months, is YouTube keep recommending all of these the things to play in the background that are they're really quite destructive, I suppose. They're just constant. There's this like constant drip feed that it's trying to force on me of content that is essentially reminding me all the time of the absolutely bonkers world that we're living in at the moment, and how things are in such decline. And it's just not a good thing to have drip fed into your psyche. By listening to this Stoicism stuff, which also happened to be recommended by the YouTube algorithm, it sort of highlighted this particular idea. And yeah, the Stoics will generally not have social media. It's just not a productive thing to have. And when I think about all of the hours and hours I've spent being a bit of a slave to social media, and it's not really done anything for me that I can think of. I mean, admittedly, I've found a few friends through social media, although to be honest, most of my friends generally all come from or have come from YouTube. And like I say, YouTube is not something I'm intending to get rid of, because I actually still enjoy making videos. I love the creative process that's involved, but also it is for me, it's still my job. It's a bit of an income. Oh no, I'm going to crash, or am I going to get away with it? Oh, I got away with it. Oh, that was close. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna I've already deleted all of the social media apps from my phone, but I'm actually thinking of just shutting the accounts completely. Although there again, I might just leave them on in the background as a placeholder, if nothing else. I don't know. I'll have some more thinking about it, but I might just completely switch off from them, unplug from them, and be done with it. Now the thing is, I have talked about leaving social media in the past, and it's something I've done and felt sort of very good for having done it. But what's happened in the past is I sort of slowly drift back towards it, if you see what I mean. So I've never really truly gone away from it. But we'll see. But these are the thoughts in my mind at the moment, and they're sort of dominating my thinking. What are your thoughts on this? Any ideas? Is social media, what benefits do you find you get from social media? Apart from those little dopamine hits that we all get. When you put a post up and you get a thumbs up on it, or somebody comments on it, it gives you a little dopamine hit, doesn't it? And that's the part of the addictive qualities of it. And to be honest, it's in a way it's scary to think that many of us are addicted to social media because of the apparatus of social media, which is a system that is specifically designed to keep you hooked. And it knows all about those little dopamine hits, and that's what it uses to keep you hooked on it. And I don't know, part of it's all sort of magic and witchcraft to me, but so often, say for example on Facebook, I'll watch a little sort of snippety video, and then suddenly it's an hour later and I'm still scrolling through these videos, and it's like, where did all that time go, and how on earth am I still watching these videos? It must be a form of addiction. It just kind of sucks you in on its tractor beam, and once it's got you hooked, it's really difficult to sort of put the thing down. Right, I'm just going in for a landing on the carrier just to see whether I can do it. Are we going to do it? I think we're looking good. Brakes on. Oh! I blew my F-14 up. Okay, the landing was too hard. Never mind. Shall we go for a Harrier jump jet? Have you ever been for a flight in a Harrier jump jet? Here we go. Got a pair of them here. So let's just jump up in one. And we'll get the canopy down. There we go. Let's give this one a try. So we can do a vertical takeoff with this. So if I set the vertical takeoff to 90 degrees and we get on the throttle, we should... Oh, a little bit drifty. There we go. We're in the air, hovering like a little hoverfly. That's pretty cool. So these Harrier jump jets, I think they seem to be fairly not that popular among the people who frequent this particular flight world, because they are quite tricky to fly, and they don't go very fast either. They even flat out, they're still a little bit slow. So if I change the VTOL angle and start making it go forward, I've got a stall alarm. But we slowly point those little pointers forwards. There we go. So we can go along now. We'll have a little flight over this this land coming up. How are you getting on with this camera angle? Any better than the one before? See, normally when I record VR videos, you normally see the world through my eyes, but I've got a streaming camera built into vrchat, which enables you to do these fixed camera positions, and I think it's probably just better for the watcher, for you, because you're not sort of getting seasick from me moving my head around all the time. There's a little suspension bridge there. I think we should go and I think we should try to go and land on it. What do you think? Let's try going back there. See if I can land on a suspension bridge in a Harrier jump jet. What do you think? Okay, suspension bridge coming up. Alright, here we go. Here's the suspension bridge. So I need to tilt back a little bit. Throttle down maybe, lose a bit of height. Let's see if I can do it in one foul swoop, rather than multiple. Oh, there we go. Not sure how much of that you can see. Cool, it's not very steady. I think we're going to do it though. There we go. Brilliant. Marvellous. Yeah. No, I think I prefer the F14, so let's go back and grab this one. We'll grab this one. This is quite a fancy looking one. So we'll get in another flight. So how are you doing with that camera angle? Should I change it? Is it okay? I think we're not too bad here, are we? There we go. All right. So we'll just take it up to the canopy. But yeah, what I have started doing also in the evenings is I normally do VR in the evenings, but sometimes I want to change from VR, because VR is brilliant, don't get me wrong, and I'm in it now and I absolutely love doing this stuff, but sometimes I just want to like veg out in front of the TV. Now I got rid of Netflix a long time ago because it just got too expensive. It's a lot of money, and I was using it so little that I couldn't really justify having it. And to be honest, the programs were just, I don't know, I just wasn't really getting on with the programming. I'd watched everything I wanted to watch, and then that was it, and there was nothing I really fancied watching, so I seemed to have no point in continuing it. But anyway, I've just gone over to another kind of like a Netflix, but it's something called, I think it's Vket.com, and this is kind of like an Asian Netflix. You're gonna laugh at this, but I've got, in a big way, I've got into, again, I think I mentioned this before, but I've got into it like in a massive way, is Korean dramas. And you're probably going, what could you possibly enjoy about Korean dramas that you don't or won't enjoy about, you know, the kind of dramas that you get on Netflix, you know, sort of Western stuff. And I'll be honest with you, the Koreans have this absolutely wonderful way of telling a good story. These guys are storytellers. They know how to tell a story without all of the nonsense that we're getting in a lot of our programming here in the Western world at the moment. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And it's just so refreshing. I've started watching these Korean dramas because there's, like I said, there's no... how can I put this? It's like their stories are just very quiet, very simple. but very, very entertaining, and they are all generally about the characters. One of the things that I've noticed in a lot of modern day programming is how much I dislike the main characters. It's very, very hard to find programming these days that where you have characters that you really, really connect with and really find yourself rooting for. And so I find that in the Korean stuff. You know, these guys, they've got really likable characters. Even their bad guys, the bad guys you sort of almost like feel sorry for, and there's like a reason why they're bad, and you sort of, you know, you get to know why. And when you do get a bad character that is, you know, they're trying to make genuinely bad, you can see they do it in such a way that it's like the baddie comes over as like a caricature rather than a believable baddie character. And there's something just, I don't know, there's something nice about that you just don't get with like, you know, sort of mainstream Western programming. And I don't know, maybe it's just my I mean, I know, you know, my brain works a bit differently to a lot of people around me, and I kind of think differently, so maybe it's just one of my little quirky things, but I don't know. But anyway, I've just been thoroughly enjoying watching these like Korean, they're not quite soap operas. I don't actually know what qualifies a soap opera to be an actual soap opera, but these are like Korean dramas, but they're just really nice to watch. And I mean, I watched one the other day, and I worked my way through it. I think it was like 8 episodes in total, and each episode was about 25 minutes long. And it was a really simple story. You know, boy meets girl, boy finds girl's not interested, or maybe she is, but, you know, her background is different, and kind of like a good old-fashioned Romeo and Juliet type thing. And you spend the whole 8 episodes wondering or not whether they're going to get together, and they do, and then they don't, and, you know. But it was like, it was just so, what's the word I'm looking for here? There was this innocence to it that you wouldn't have got had it have been made, you know, by Netflix. You know, there was no, the most raunchy part of it was where one of them stole a kiss. And that was it. You know, there was no sex, no nudity, nothing. It was just this really quiet, sweet little story that was just absolutely watchable, and it was just so nice. And I'm really hard pushed to find anything like that without current Western current day programming. You know what I mean? But is that me? Is that just me being a bit, I don't know. The word soppy popped into my head then, but it's not what I mean. It's just like I don't know how to word this better, but I'm sure you may know what I'm getting at. But anyway, here we go. So I'm gonna what am I doing? I'm flying between buildings at the moment. It's a little tight, but we're doing it. But I tell you what, I've had enough with flying in this jet now. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go land on the aircraft carrier, and then I'm going to go and fly an airliner, which is a lot more complicated to fly than these jets. So let's throttle up a bit, and we'll go and see if we can do a landing on the aircraft carrier, and then we'll go over to another world which has this really cool airline flying thing. Now the ironic thing is, I've actually recently bought Microsoft Flight Simulator. It was on offer on Steam a few weeks ago, and I bought it for probably about half the price I would have normally done. And I played it for a few days, and then I don't know, I just don't enjoy flying in MS Flight Simulator as much as I do in flying in vrchat. I don't know why. I think maybe it's because it's simpler to fly in vrchat. Not sure. Oh, hooks, flap, gears. Here we go. Right, so we're slowing down. I need to keep dabbing on the air brake. Alright, wish me luck. I'm going in. This is... I think we should be doing it. Should be able to do it. Throttle back, brake on. Yes, there we go. Marvellous. So, okay, let's jump out. That was fun. Cool. Right, let's find this new world and we'll have a little look around. Where are we? There it is. Jet airliners. So let's create a new instance and we'll join. I'll see you on the other side. Right then, so welcome to this airfield, this airport, and we're going to go and fly on that. And this is a lot more complicated to fly. So I'm going to run up. It always makes me laugh when I'm walking along on this. This avatar doesn't quite so much walk as mince. Never mind. Right, we're going to go up the stairs, and let me just flip the camera around so you can see what's going on. This camera is brilliant. It's like a phone. You can hold it and turn it around, and it just, if you let go of it, it sort of locks off against you, and so when I move forward, it moves forward with me. But anyway, we can go in here. Now this is a passenger jet. You can actually have passengers. Each one of these seats, you can actually take another person, and you can sit in any of the seats. And on the backs of the screens, they've got little TV screens, so they can see what's going on in the cabin, which is good. So anyway, here's the cabin. So give me a second. I just need to jump into the chair, and then I need to immediately put the parking brake on. Otherwise, the aircraft moves forward. So where have you gone? I've lost you. Oh, there you are. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move you back there. But yeah, although this isn't quite Microsoft Flight Simulator, it is a really good flight simulator. So right, let me just adjust my seat. So I'm just going to move down and forward a little bit. Okay, looking good. Did you come forward with me then? Yeah, you did. That's interesting. Okay. So what we got to do for this, you can't just go. You actually have to start the engines, and they have to power up. So if I go to auto start, it starts up something called the APU, which is the auxiliary power unit. Let's get the throttles off. And that's the power supply that you need in order to start the engines up, apparently. And then what actually happens, these dials are real, and they actually start showing you the pressure on the engines. So once you reach a certain amount of pressure, you can then actually start thinking about moving. So it's quite, it's not quite Microsoft Flight Simulator, but whoever invented this and whoever created this particular world, they did a cracking job of it. So we can see, you probably can't see because it's quite far away, but you can start to see the pressure building up in one of the engines now. So that means I can go into reverse. So I need to move that little lever there, and if I take off the parking brake with one of the engines running, we should actually start moving backwards. There we go, we're starting to move. So the steering is done on a little joystick over to my left here, and let's just get a little bit of throttle there, and then we can turn around. Now it is quite funny, if you, with the engines running, you can actually see the that truck there and everything. They start wobbling around in the wash from the jets. So there we go, the APU has now switched itself off because both engines are running. Throttle back. Okay, so now we can go and taxi. Let's turn reverse off, and we should start moving forward momentarily, and then we can start to taxi to the main runway and then do an actual proper takeoff. So maybe need a little bit of throttle there. There we go. So we'll just find our way to the main airfield. Hope my avatar's not glitching out too much. The only problem is when you're in a moving object within one of these worlds, your avatar tends to do a flickery thing. You can see my hair sort of going a bit mad. I think it doesn't recognise that I'm inside something, so it thinks I'm outside moving through the air. I don't know how these things work. It's all a bit too technical for me. But anyway, we'll steer to the taxiway. And then the main runway is over there. You may be able to see the flashing lights. That's the landing strip. These are the lights, and then the start of the runway is right there. So we'll just go here, and then I can throttle back. I'm going to switch to the wheel brake. Now I've just been spent the afternoon walking around something called Project Vket, which is an online VR marketplace, and it's really good fun walking around it. And it sells 3D items, 3D accessories and tools and avatars and things like that. So there wasn't a lot I could buy, but they do them in these amazing venues. And they're really quite a treat to look around. Anyway, I've done a video on it. I should put that up separately, but that'll be coming soon. But it's a long video. At the moment I've recorded about 2 hours worth, so I'm sure I'll have to edit that down. Anyway, here we are on the main runway. Let's hit the parking brake. Whoops. Right, so what we need is some flaps. So we'll turn the main flaps on. Hopefully you can hear them deploying, and then that's all we need. So stand by on the gears. Once the flaps have deployed, actually I don't need that much flap. Let's turn them back a little bit, because the flaps are fussy on here. If you take off, especially if you're doing overspeed, if you go too fast, and you try retracting the flaps, you can actually end up breaking them, and they actually, you can hear this big bang sound, and they stop working. So right, we're ready now. I can go to the push to talk to the air traffic controller, but there's nobody else in the world, so I'm just going to take off. So we're ready to go. We're going to throttle up. We've got the parking brake on. Wait for the engines to build up. Here we go, and we release the brake, and we should be good to go. Right, let's see what happens. Woo! Oh, steer straight down the runway, Rick. Oh, okay. Please make sure your trays are in the upright position and your seatbelts are fastened as we're taking off. And we're up. Hey, okay. Throttle back a little bit. Retract the gears. And I can... Actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Rather than have a long flight, I'm going to see if I can land this. They've got a second runway, which I can turn around for. It's now a good time to mention I've never actually successfully landed this. It's really difficult steering this with your left hand, because normally when I'm doing flying I normally steer with my right hand. But what I'm going to do, let's put the airspeed brake on a little bit, throttle back, let's put the gear down. There's the runway. Oh, hopefully you can see it. Can you see that? Right. Oh, we're at a bit of an odd angle. The flaps have stayed on, but we'll have a go. We'll see if we can.
Think rate. 1,000.
No, fine. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, we're not doing too bad. Not doing too bad.
200.
Why would I pull up? I'm trying to land.
100.
Right,
50,
reverse.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Right, wheel brakes. Oh, no. Don't want to bounce. We're back up in the air again. No. No, it's not going to work. Okay, let's turn the brakes off. Throttle up the engine again. And we'll have to write that landing off as a bad idea.
200.
Tank brake.
What does he mean handbrake? I've got no handbrake. There we go. Don't want to go too fast in this, otherwise it gets a bit fussy. I'll see if I can go round again to that other, to the air, or to the runway that we actually took off from.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Right, remember Rick, it's not a jet fighter.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
And I know I'm upsetting my passengers at the moment. I can hear the screaming from here. Right. So let's throttle down again. Speed brake on. And yeah, this is much more difficult to fly than the jet fighters. There's a long delay between you steering and it actually steering. Right.
Brake.
Flaps. Let's turn the flaps full up. Oh, we're going too fast for the flaps, so put the speed brake on. We're throttled fully back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reverse throttle
400.
now.
200.
Oops.
100.
That's reverse
40.
throttle on the engines.
20. 10.
Wheel brake. Oh, I've done it. Almost. we're a bit wonky, but bit of a handbrake turn there. But you know what? I think that's the first time I've successfully landed. just don't look at the engines because they're actually on fire. I'll tell you what. Actually, you know what? I fancy. We've done this, so what we could do now is let's go to a different world. So I'll tell you what, and we'll go back to the aircraft carrier world, and we'll have a little flight on the Osprey because I quite like the Osprey. It's quite fun to fly. There we go, and there is the Osprey. So let's climb on board, and we'll go for a little flight in that. There we go. Right, we should be good to go now. So, we'll take off. Gear down, retract the gear. And then all we've got to do is tilt the blades. And away we go. Very cool. I love flying this thing because you can hover it anywhere. It's like your own personal little hover fly. We're heading for the oil rigs, nice and close to the water. You're probably getting a sensation of speed with the water going past. Maybe I should have pointed the camera forward so you can actually see where we're going. Let's have a look. Alright, so I need to tilt the blades about now because I'm still going to have forward momentum for a while. And then we'll see if we can land on the oil rig. There's the landing helicopter platform. I've got this tiny little ledge to land on. Hopefully. Deploy the gear. There we go. Right. So I'll try to turn around as well. So we're literally above the oil rig now. Above the platform. Ooh. There we go. Perfect. Marvellous. There we go. So one perfect landing on the helicopter pad on the oil rig. Right then, should we go somewhere else? Oh, I'll tell you what, let's go to one of my favourite worlds. Mind you, I've got lots of favourites, but this one is, hang on, I might have to do a quick search for it because I haven't been to it for a while. There are a couple of Japanese themed, well actually there's lots of Japanese themed worlds that are on vrchat, but there are a couple that I really like. So this is a world called Japan After School, and it's a very, very simple world, and I do believe it's set back in an earlier day. I don't think this is like a modern times setting. I think this is more of a setting from the, I don't know, the 70s, 80s, 90s, something like that. And it's quite a simple world, not a lot going on. You've got like a water course thing here. You've got obviously a school there, playground here, a few small houses and dwellings, a little shop around the corner here, and yeah, you can buy all sorts of little things in the shop, and a couple of arcade machines out here. See, that's a bit of a clue as to the era. Arcade machines outside a shop. We're talking 80s, aren't we? And then we've got some sort of that's going to be tofu, isn't it? That's like a tofu squeezer thing. But it's a very simple world, but I like the feeling this world gives me. You've got like a torii gate out there in the water. There's like an ocean out there, an old bus. I think there's an old little sushi restaurant here as well, and it's all got this very almost like nostalgic feel to it. A little post box, shrine over here, and then there's like a small building round here that you can go to, and it's an old-fashioned type building. You've got your tatami mats on the floor, enormous kitchen, very old traditional style building, and like I say, I like to just visit this place because it gives me this feeling of nostalgia, and I know that sounds a bit bonkers, but if you know me and you've seen my videos in the past, you'll know that I'm absolutely bonkers about Japan. And I sort of look at the way that water's wobbling there. I honestly believe if reincarnation was an actual thing, and if reincarnation is real, I'm absolutely convinced that in my former life I was Japanese. I'll tell you why, because when I see scenes like this, when I engage in anything to do with Japan, I get this little sense of home. It's hard to explain it, but I feel like this is where I belong. And I know it sounds like completely bonkers, but I have that feeling is so strong that I honestly think that I honestly had to have been Japanese in a former life. Had a former life been an actual thing, if we are reincarnated, then I definitely think I was Japanese in a former life, because this gives me a feeling of home. Isn't that bizarre? So there we go. My secret is out. I think I was Japanese in a former life. And on that note, let's find somewhere else to go and have a quick look. I'll tell you what I will do. I'll give you a quick look, assuming it's still. They might not be visible because they're still available on the menu. So I might go and have a very quick look at Project Vtek. Is it Vtek? Vket. Sorry, Vket. Because I want to just give you a quick taster of the video I've made that's going to be uploaded a bit later on. Right then, I'm going to have to assume I need to click that. Oh, caution. Pressing the above hourglass plays a scene with flashing lights which may potentially prone to motion sickness and photosensitive epilepsy seizures. You can skip them with the button below. Okay, well, let's give it a go. So if you're prone to flashing lights doing you damage, look away now. And I will Whoa, that's that is intense. And it's over. Okay, that's cool. So anyway, Project Vket, sorry, is a Japanese. It's a Japanese-based thing. You know, obviously, because it's me. But it is a marketplace. And if you... Is it shut? I think... Are these going to spawn into... Yes, they are. They're going to spawn into market stalls. Yeah, they're in the process of dismantling it because it's over now. But basically, you've got all of these market stalls with lots of digital products that you can buy through direct links. This particular world I've been to before, but I'll just very, very quickly show you one that I went to earlier today, and it's really good because, well, I'll just show you. Because you actually arrive to the venue in hyperspace on a spaceship. I mean, what's not to like? So there's the venue over there. Through the windows you can see it. And we're actually going to go and land on the planet, and then the planet is where the venue is being held. But there we go. So we've landed, and we're now at the virtual marketplace. And there's I did the survey earlier, actually. There's a survey. But then you've got these amazing venues. There's several. I think there's about 6 or 8 of them. And then you go down, and there are the stalls down there. There are the different booths and everything. And you just got this long walk that you go through. There's a spaceship taking off again. And you've got this long walk that you go through. And you get to see all of the things for sale and everything. It's just a really cool thing. And I think they do it about, I think it's 3 or 4 times a year. And it's just a really cracking thing to do. Anyway, I've made a video on it. And if you want to watch that video will be coming up soon. It's not going to be a video for everyone, and it's quite a long video as well. And I'm just wandering around all these different places in VR. So, you know, but that's the video to watch out for. So I think that's going to be it for this video. This was just a little bit of nonsense, really. Just a little bit of fun, having a little fly around and having a little look around and a little bit of a natter. And I've really enjoyed it. I just wanted to get into back into VR and do a video, and also to try out this camera system, because I think this camera system is a lot better than you seeing everything through my eyes, because you get all the wobbly head movements and everything, whereas this fixed camera, although I can still move it around, pick it up and move it about, it's, for the most part, it's generally quite stable. So it should give you a better VR experience, obviously, even though you're not in VR. Because, like I say, when you're in a VR headset, to you, this is just a picture like watching somebody playing a computer game on a flat screen. To me, I'm actually stood in this world, and if I physically look around, I'm seeing all this as if it's like real, and I'm actually seeing it in 3D. I can see this stuff going off down into the distance. For me, that's in 3D like I would see it as if it was real. But again, you will never ever fully get that until the day you put a VR headset on and you'll suddenly go, oh, I get it now. I see why he was going on and on and on about it, because it is virtually another reality, hence virtual reality. It is like you are in another world, walking around in another world. You can see things, feel things, you know, especially with the little sensors on your controllers and everything. But yeah, VR is just cool. Anyway, on that note, thanks for watching, guys. Do feel free to leave any comments or observations or notes in the comments below. So until next time, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video, which will possibly be the Project Vket one, or something else. Cheers now.